The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Thursday, the 29th day of September, 2022. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House One Communications and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman. She's Sancha Durham, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Sancha, happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday, Jamal. How are you?
Well, I'm okay. I can't say too much. I'm still alive. I'm losing power every couple, I was down here in South Florida. It's not easy with this Hurricane Ian, but things look bad on the West Coast. There have been tornadoes nearby, apparently, but for the most part, just went for my jog this morning, and there were like a lot of trees and sticks in my path running. But outside of that, the majority of the damage is on the West Coast of Florida. So just actually reached out to Sherry's mom. Those of you who don't know, Sherry's mom's based on that side in Bradenton, and that's where a lot of the Bermuda U football games take place. So she's, at last check, was doing well. So that's good to know. But yeah, I'm good. Just hoping that there's not as much damage and no loss of life in the great state of Florida. Yeah. So wow. Sancha, you know what?
Oh gosh, when it's a pause, you know we're in for it. What's going on? What's going on?
But before we get into it, it's my wife's birthday, so
I was gonna say it's a special day today, huh?
Yeah. Well, her flight was canceled from Jamaica to come back, right? Me thinks she wanted to be in Jamaica for her birthday. That's what I think. Yeah. But no,
I don't blame her. I don't blame her.
I can't blame her, honestly. If you've ever been to Jamaica, it's a nice, relaxing vibe, man.
My favorite.
Yeah, but
I will continue to say.
I'm not gonna sing for her. Well, we'll give her a little, dance. I'll give her a dance because they singing. She didn't pay for that, but happy birthday to Nikki Hartman, who is celebrating another year of life and happiness and good health. And also a happy birthday to one of our most loyal audience members, Carla John. She had a birthday yesterday, I believe. So happy belated birthday to Carla John out there. If you're tuned in, wishing you also
happy birthday.
Yeah. So greetings, everyone. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. Good one today as we welcome Jonathan Robinson and Nathan Samuels on the show. We're going to be discussing life insurance awareness. So, this is very personal to me. As you know, I lost my mom earlier this year. My sister and I have literally been dealing with insurance companies, learning what probates are and so on. So this is a conversation that I believe is so important to us all. We never know when things will happen in our lives beyond our control. So I'm happy for this conversation. And my hope is that these gentlemen won't be strangers. They'll continue to come and have these conversations to not just engage, but to inform our audience. The Daily Play is a Name That Place today. So, Sancha, I just hope that I remember to do the Daily Play. But before we get to that, we have a question, and we have some big guests coming up next week, folks. As I said on Twitter yesterday, in October period, I looked at the list for guests coming up, and it's hot. So I will tell you, if there's a show in Bermuda that exists, this is the one that you want to ensure that you and your friends are tuned into over the next month, because it's about to get very, very interesting over here. But thank you, Sam Cat Place. Yes, we are good so far in South Florida, thankfully. And the birthday girl says, I want to be home, but at least I'm going to the beach real quick. See, hey, look, I don't know. Happy birthday there, wifey. R.I.P. Coolio. Before we jump into the conversation, Coolio,
Yes,
the rapper, he had that hit, man, and that I believe that hit was one of the biggest rap hits in the mid to late 90s. Gangsta's Paradise, and it's so fitting for all that's going on in Bermuda over the last decade or so that are so fitting in that song. So yes, R.I.P. to Coolio. Only 59, Sancha. Only 59.
I was shocked. We were talking last night. We got Jamal out of bed last night. We had a group chat, and we harassed him out of bed. But I was shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, before we get into today's conversation, they literally did. Folks, you know me, I'm in bed by like 9, right? And I don't have my phone is on silent. You all don't understand. It's literally on silent. So I have to look over to see, look at my phone. So I missed a couple of group calls from Sherry and Sancha. And
Listen, Nikki's not home, so it's free game. Your
yeah,
sisters were contacting you, and we made him stay on fit. But he was excited to have the company because he started talking about everything else. He was like, "Yes, my sis calls me."
I did. Yeah. All right, let's get into today's conversation, folks. It's a good one. Good morning, sister, cousin Bang. We are proud of you too, and we love you. And happy birthday to all Libras coming from Fig the Rose of Gilts. Again, happy birthday to my wife and Nikki, and happy belated to Carla John, our loyal viewer in the audience. We have the question for you today. It's very, very simple. It's about my petty request that I'm filing. If you remember yesterday, I am going to be filing a petty request. Again, it's probably going to be rejected because at the end of the day, it's a political party. But my petty request is I am going to file a petty request requesting the names of the delegates for the PLP coming up in their leadership challenge. So the question of the morning, basically to the audience, is should the public know who the PLP delegates are who will be voting on the party's leader? That's your question. Very simple. Should the public know who the PLP delegates are who will be voting on the party's leader? Sancha, I just know. I just know. No. You want in on this.
Yes.
Take it away.
So, as we were discussing yesterday, I don't think everyone understands the process of how what's going to happen. Right. I was speaking to someone yesterday and they were like, oh, Curtis Dickinson definitely has my vote. And I looked at them and I was like, but you're not going to be voting. And, I explained how, there are delegates, it's going to be their vote. And I see this two ways. I say yes, because I feel like people should be held responsible for them. I don't want to know who you voted for, but at least know who you are, so that you can't hide behind a vote, right? You can't say like I voted for this, but I believe in that. Just an idea of who these people are, because I think it's going to be a lot of I talk one way, but I vote another, right? And then I say no. That I'm conflicted. I say no because this is a tough job. And we don't know what we're opening these people up to by listing their names, and especially in the space that we're in now, the amount of people, the public, that are not happy and it doesn't go their way. I don't know if I want to put people in that space. It can be dangerous. Am I making sense?
Yeah, no, you're making perfect sense because you're basically being fair. You're being fair with this, right? I'm challenged with it because what I'm challenged with, and I didn't read the article, I just saw someone post about it, that MP Christopher Famous put out an op-ed, I guess, last week, basically doing what they blamed the white man for doing for years, right? Basically making excuses, saying it's always been like this since 1960, blah, 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 with the PLP. Why is it an issue now? The fact that a party that champions itself on progressiveness, right, would actually justify something they do today because it's always been done that way is one of the most sickening things. And it actually is a reason that people are distancing themselves from that said party. That's what makes people sick of people like you, right? So, question of the morning, should the public know who the PLP delegates are who will be voting on the party's leader? Well, let's go to the audience. We've got, well, the audience, it seems one way.
It's unanimous.
Says absolutely. Sheikha Reina says yes. Ebony Souza says for sure. Traveling Truddy says yes. We've got Sam Cat Place. Absolutely. We are talking about our country. Do they represent the makeup of this island from all walks of life, making decisions that impact us all? Absolutely. And then Sean Smith and Sheikha Reina for you, Sandra.
No, because that will open up the door to people requesting information on any private membership organization. Is this like the popular vote versus the electoral vote in the US?
No, but I don't know what you mean. Like what comparison are you making there? Because as far as I know, when I voted at Delegates Conference, every vote counts for even. So if the only difference is depending on how many members each constituency has, that's how many delegates they get. But we'll have a very, very special guest on Monday. The former leader of the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party, Mark Bean, will be here for an extended daily hour to break down how things work within the PLP. So you don't want to miss that. Carla John, for you, Sanction.
My first question would be: is there a reason the delegates' names are kept a secret? That's a good question. I want to go back to the question that was just, not the question, the statement that was just made. Do these people make up all walks of life? And they don't. I don't know who they are, but I'm pretty sure that they don't.
No, they don't. I mean, as far as and I'm going to be very honest, when I've been a delegate, and we're talking over 10 years ago, everyone in the room was Black. I remember in certain Central Committee meetings, Jonathan Smith, former police commissioner and former senator, was there. But no, it doesn't represent all walks of life. But
again, I think people have to understand that this is an election within the party.
Correct.
It's within the party. I think people are missing that point. Like it's not that Curtis Dickinson, someone has said, oh, is he no longer a part of the PLP? He is a part of the PLP, but now he would like to challenge for leadership. So this is the party saying, okay, I am going to vote for the leader of our party. And I think people are having a hard time understanding how that works.
Speaking of Curtis Dickinson, I believe within the next week, we'll be having the Honorable Mark Bean, the Honorable Nalitha Butterfield, the Honorable Curtis Dickinson all on this show. Folks, you do not want to miss an episode of what's to come on this show.
What did he say? The Daily Hour, the big show?
Yeah,
The big show.
Be the big show. Real quick question before we go back to the audience, Sancha. You gonna do this?
Look, I knew you were gonna do it. He is putting me on the spot in front of everybody, so I can't say no. I knew he was. So he messaged me yesterday. He messaged me yesterday, and I had a rough day yesterday. So I didn't get a chance to answer. So last night he asked again. I'm like, and now he's putting me on the spot in front of you guys.
I wouldn't say no to the audience. She still hasn't said yes, folks, but we'll work on her behind the scenes. We'll work on her. Should the public know who the PLP delegates are who will be voting for the party's leader? And we've got Renee Simmons says, why certainly isn't that democratic? But Reese Sam says, excellent point, Sancha, about the possibility of putting the delegates at risk. Charles H. Jeffers II says, I could care less who the delegates vote for party leader. I care about who the 36 MPs vote for premier. They should be representing their constituents. So again, as has been said on this show before by audience members, is parties can vote for their leader, but the 36 MPs vote for the premier. So there's another step to this. Now, if let's say David Burt does survive the leadership of the party, now it turns over to the 36 elected people. Here's my concern. And I've said this last week or previous to that. Say what you want about Mark Dean. When he felt his time was up, he resigned, right? My question is, why does the current premier want that job so much? Where's the humility in saying, you know what? Let me step aside. It's obvious that they want somebody new. Let me step aside. There's got to be some humility in that. As I stated, is it the fact that we don't have self-belief that we can go out and make a life for ourselves? Is it the fact that we know we'll never reach a certain salary? Is it about money why you want to maintain that position? I'm not saying it is. I'm just asking the questions. The reason for it is I just do not have faith that under David Burt as premier, Bermuda is in or will be in its best state. I just don't. And we need to be grateful for those in international business who are, literally keeping the economy going. It's not your government, trust me. Think about it. They'll mess around with tourism, but they will never touch IB. Yeah. Never.
My question is the delegates and their vote. Are they going to be voting for the right things? I mean, we don't know who these delegates are, but does David Burt remaining as premier benefit them in any way?
Well, that's what I think comes down to. The only way if I were a delegate still today, I don't know Mr. Dickinson, never met him. I probably don't even agree with half of his policies, but I think as an individual. But the policies, if they make sense for the betterment of the country, I'm all for it, because it's not about me as an individual. If the country benefits, then I should be able to benefit somehow. I just would have to figure that out. Now, I've heard people say austerity, that's what they're pushing him as. But both him and Premier Burt, they're both kind of conservative in that respect. I don't see much difference. The only difference I see in these two gentlemen, seriously, one has the know-how, having the business experience, one doesn't.
And I think that's important.
One isn't. And the other thing, one is seen as straight business, the other one plays a role. Think about what I'm saying. Plays a role. I'm not saying he is a personable person, but he plays a role and plays it very well. Let's go back to the comments, Tori, for you, share.
Of course we should. Bermuda has an issue with politicians putting their individual interests over the country. People have an incentive to good if they are in the public eye. Agreed.
Yeah. Folks, what are your thoughts? Should the public know who the delegates are who will be voting on the party's leader? Do you think the public has a right to know? And I want to just touch on what Sancha said earlier, which someone in the audience brought up about the risk. The risk. I don't necessarily think people care enough, honestly, and I don't say this to be disrespectful. I don't think Bermudians care enough to harass delegates. I don't.
I think if we get to a point whereas we're tired enough, and I feel like we're there, like for that lady to hold up that sign at the Labor Day, celebration, sitting next to David Burt. Like, I was like, is this photoshopped?
Yes.
Like, no, she's tired.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think people are tired. Well, there's two people. Some people I hear, you know what you have, you don't know what you're gonna get. When I hear that, I'm just like, what? Like, I can't grasp it. But I think people are tired. But I also think that maybe if we did know their names and know who they are, they may lead with more of a conscience,
Yeah.
and they may listen to the public because we're screaming.
Yeah.
We're
I
screaming.
I think you know what? What I'm happy about is that we'll be able to have these conversations on this show. The audience will get to engage with Mr. Dickinson. I'm excited that we will actually be able to find out things that we just don't know. Because again, I outside of a press conference, I've never seen him engage with people. I've never seen him talk, and I don't think people. Someone said to me, "Oh well, Curtis is." That's what they said, not me. Well, Curtis doesn't. He's not into hugging people and kissing babies and da, da, da. I'm like, but people are not looking for that right now. What the people
Mm-mm.
want, what they want is someone that they can trust to help their country. They care about integrity. That's what
We're
they
not we're not in a space of feel good right
no.
now. We keep it you keep accepting those hugs and kisses, and
Mhm,
we're not in that space. We need to deal with our economy. We
mhm,
need to figure out how we get on the back end of everything that's happened with COVID. Like,
mhm,
we have our tourism is, you know, going to the dump. We have no you know what, Jamal, I told you about this, but
mhm,
I met with this lady over the weekend. She ended up sitting at my table at Hamilton Princess. She just bought a house in Bermuda. This lady is well off. And she's sitting there venting to me, where she's so upset that she spent all this money on this house. And like I said, she is very well off. She's complaining about the flights, how she can't get in and out easily. When she gets here, everything is closed by 8:30. She can't, go out to have a late dinner.
mhm,
If she invites her friends here, there's nothing for them to do. That, like, she's asking herself, like, why did I even invest this money
mhm,
in this place? She doesn't have a network of people, like, and I'm sitting there, like, to the point where I offered to be
mhm,
like, hey, let me help you through this.
mhm.
Those are the things that we need to start addressing and stop acting like it's okay and we'll get to it. We need hotels. We need people coming to Bermuda. We need a plan, a
Yeah,
serious plan, and we need to be about the business.
yeah, I agree.
And I don't care whether you come and hug my son and take a picture with my son and kiss my son. I'm worrying about my son's future. When my son gets to my age, I don't want him to be still paying off the debt, him and his friends in this country to be paying off the debt that we keep putting ourselves in.
I always knew that this would be something because the conversation David Bird and I had back in 2011, 2010 when I was in graduate school. And, I was just against all forms of debt. And he was telling me that, Jamel, debt is not always a bad thing. And I said, that's what we've been taught. That's what we've been told. And I know people say there's good debt, but the attitude towards debt back then helped me understand where we would be under such leadership. And here we are. Let's bring Maya into before we get in trouble. The boss is back there. Maya actually, folks, learned how to use StreamYard within 30 minutes, and she can bring herself in, but she's so respectful and nice. So let's bring her.
Oh,
Good morning, everyone. This is the Daily Hour News Break brought to you by People's Pharmacy, and I'm Maya Palacio.
Well, good morning, Maya. How are you? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah.
So look, let's touch on this. Not obviously, I don't want your opinion on this as a journalist. You probably need to stay far away from answering this. But is this something that people are speaking about? Young people are speaking about in your spaces?
No.
Do
I
they
guess well,
understand
in
delegates?
terms of
Do they understand the delegates, like how it works or anything?
okay, in terms of it being on my Twitter page, I could definitely see some people like talking about like the upcoming who they would like to be the next Primo of Bermuda and everything, but no one's really talking about the process or how it actually happens and how things operate. So hopefully that is done. I did see Bermuda Youth Connect explain a bit in previous stories that they've done because there's going to be a lot of upcoming stuff and political stuff, but no one's dived into it fully yet, but I think we're about to start getting there if the conversation becomes more prevalent. But at this stage, like, I haven't seen much questions about it yet. But that's probably on me. I should probably bring it to the attention a bit more.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. I just think it's interesting. I think we're in a space where it's obviously we've got what 20 something days until that time, and I think as we get closer, it's going to be more people are going to be drawn to it because they're going to understand this is the fate of the country that's on the line. So I'll be interested to see what your audience has to say regarding that. What you got in the news for us? Anything good?
Nothing too good to start out with. The sad news being that around 8:30 p.m. on Tuesday, the police received reports of an unresponsive male in the punt at the St. David's Variety Wharf. Officers attended the scene and administered CPR until the arrival of EMTs who took over, but there have been no indications of foul play or suspicious circumstances involved. However, the investigation is still ongoing, and the police are asking anyone who may have any information always just contact them, call them, even call their line at 211.
Never nice to hear stuff like that. And of course, you get the information you want to confirm, and then a day later you find out it really was something that happened. What else you got for us?
Well, what I have for you guys now, those who have vehicles and are driving on the cars right now, unfortunately, there's a lot more, lane closures, and a lot of them have been extended. I have 3 that came in recently, saying that there'll be a lane closure between the Palmetto Road and the entrance of Bus Depot in Devonshire has been extended until Monday, the 31st of October, 2022. Another one, the trench work on Molly Bay Road, St. George's, from Rocky Hill to Ferry Road, will continue again till end of October the 31st. But the last one, which is going to be quite a long time, the final trench work on Middle Road, Southampton, will continue from Lighthouse Road to the Belco Evans Bay substation all the way through until March of 2023.
Maya. So I'm just going to say it. Sancha, it's okay. They're putting the lines underground. They're making things cool.
Listen, did you guys see my WhatsApp status yesterday?
I'm going to look now.
I was like, this traffic. So I live in Somerset. I have to take my son Maddox to Somersfield. If I do not leave home by 10 past 7, he's not getting to school before 8:25. The traffic is so insane that I am breathing and praying and.
But don't blame Maya for the traffic polish. It's just important.
It's going to be longer than you want. I'm sorry.
You see my eyes. I'm just like. and like I said, there is not a meeting of the minds. So we can take this until March 2023, and then next year this time you're going to be like, well, they're opening up the roads again so that Belco can. My heart stops.
Maya, can you don't have anything good make us smile?
I'm sorry. I just something good coming up. But first, to let everyone know, you're probably going to hear from some ministers today. At 10:30 this morning, there's going to be a press conference with the Honorable Kim Wilson, the Minister of Health. So, check in for that. It's going to be live, as well as later this evening at 6 p.m. The Ministry of Economy and Labor, they'll be hosting a roundtable discussion.
Sorry, please coming in. So, folks, remember what I said last? You know what? Follow our social media. Just follow our social media. After this show, make sure you're following the Daily Hour on all social media platforms. Go ahead, Maya.
Oh, God.
Here we're having a roundtable discussion entitled Addressing the Challenge of an Aging Population in Bermuda. Okay, good news coming up. Well, maybe good news for some, not always good news for all, because this event isn't always inclusive of everyone in mind. But if you're looking for an event to attend soon, the Bermuda Tourism Authority will be hosting the island's very first Swizzle Festival on a new date, Sunday, October the 9th at Bars Park from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. There's going to be even like Swizzle-infused foods and culinary and everything like that as well. So that's something for everyone to attend if you wish to. My only note is just, get home safe, have a designated driver. Obviously, it's going to be a lot of alcohol and alcohol. So just, be safe if you do attend and have fun. There's going to be a lot of local performance as well.
All righty. And what's happening in the weather there? Obviously, we've been, pretty windy down here in South Florida, but haven't had the worst.
Sure. Yeah, the weather's actually pretty good today. It's going to be bright, under a little bit of clouds, and there might be some early sprinkles in the morning, but I don't think it's going to be too harsh for the rest of the day. And you got a high of 83 degrees Fahrenheit.
All right, Sandra,
It's a
days of the year. What you
beautiful
got for us?
day. Today, today is, sorry guys, World Heart Day. We just talked about Coolio losing his life, allegedly to a heart attack. Today, September 29th, is World Heart Day. Every year, over 17 million people die from heart disease. As a way to fight this, the World Heart Foundation created World Heart Day. It's an event held every year, September 29th. Around the world, people can find events that raise awareness about cardiovascular disease, CVD. It's warning signs, the steps you can take to fight it, and how to help those around you who may be suffering. So on September 29th, fight CVD by getting involved with a World Heart Day event near you.
Love it. Thank you for that, Sandra.
Yes.
Got to take care of our hearts. Just want to read something. Sherry's mom, Audrey Patterson, she says, "Good morning, Jamel. Thanks so much for checking in yesterday. The rain and wind has slowed down this morning. Still heavy electricity. We'll be going out to check damage in our area when the sun comes up. We did lose screen panels on our pool cage. We were blessed." So happy to hear that. That is Sherry's mom. Yes, Mama Patterson. I told Sherry, yeah, I'm gonna check up on mom more than you, so I'm in contact with Sherry. But I'm happy to hear that her mom. A lot of people were checking up on me. And it made me think, like, hold on, Shara's mom's over on that side of Florida. So anyone, just send love to people, some good energy over there, because the west coast of Florida, particularly in Fort Myers area, was hard hit. We just had breeze, a couple of tornadoes, and damage over on the east side. But honestly, appreciate people reaching out. If there's one thing, Bermudians, even if they're mad at you, they're gonna make sure you're okay.
You're
so
right.
they can be mad at you again, and you can know. So appreciate you all. Maya, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Hey, she's the hard. Before she goes, I'm gonna stay this while she's here, and then she might game up. But she's so hardworking. Like Maya literally goes from one thing to another. And the last person, she reminds me of my former boss, Glenn Blakeney. Glenn would send like emails. He worked so much while people were sleeping, and he's very good at business. I see that in her. I'm not saying she's a guy and she's Glenn, but I just see the quality of a business person. She is so much more than just a journalist. She is a business woman. She is an entrepreneur. I
love it.
So Maya, Sandra, you saw
He's
that
giving
girl?
you your roses while you're here, Maya.
I know. I'm trying not to like blush or anything. I'm just thank you.
Sandra heard that voice in her store and said, "Why not hit up Media Maya?" Anyway, we'll save that for another show. Enjoy your day. Take some downtime.
Bye, guys. Thank you, Sandra.
All right, folks, we've got some guests coming up. We've got Nathan Samuels, Jonathan Robinson. We're going to bring him on via the phone, having some challenges. Do not go anywhere. Going to take a quick break. Please, please, please. This is an important conversation. I'm using myself as an example. I should know this. I've studied it, but you don't think of this stuff. Life insurance, probates, how all of this stuff works. Stick with us. You need to be a part of this conversation.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose Peoples, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it Peoples. I call it my one-stop shop in the city. Peoples, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandy Town Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
Hey TDH community, we're excited to announce our first private shopping experience just for you. There will be huge discounts, giveaways, specials, and more. Not a member? Register today at thedailyhour.com. All right, welcome back to the big show, Central Durham. I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Linda's, and People's Pharmacy. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed on our website so you don't miss a chance for updates, promotions, prizes, and more. Also, if you're on the go and you can't watch us, Sandra, tell them what to do, please.
Listen in.
Yeah, you can listen by downloading the BCG radio app, folks.
Yes.
Yeah, you can. We've got some guests that we're just working on. We're going to bring Nathan Samuels and Jonathan Robinson in. So give us a chance to just bring these gentlemen in, just having a couple of challenges. So normally we wouldn't tell you about challenges and you wouldn't know, but trying to.
I'm excited about this conversation. We're all kind of going through it. And as you kind of hit our age, we realize like, whoa, we really need to start planning. And especially with me having a son, I started thinking, I'm like, I need to figure this out and make sure that things are okay for him. My grandmother passed away recently, and just today I have a meeting where I have to go to the lawyers and figure out the probate, and it's a lot.
No, it is a lot. And it's stuff that we haven't considered for so long. And I just want us to be more aware. I think these conversations are helpful to becoming more aware of what we need to do. So let's bring in Nathan Samuels and Jonathan Robinson. Good morning, Mr. Samuels. How are you, sir?
Good morning. Yeah, doing good. Right. Doing good.
And Jonathan, you're on the line, correct? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfect. And I'm going to tell you something. This is the first time we've been able to do this in respect to a guest having technical challenges and me being able to, through a commercial break, go backstage and create something where people will know who they're speaking to. So thank you guys for making us better. Technical challenges are not setbacks. They're an opportunity to find a way to do things better. So thank you for still finding a way to do this conversation. Before we get started, and go into in depth in what you both do. Obviously, you're with MJM Limited, which is more the legal side, correct, Mr. Samuel?
Correct. Yeah.
Speak to us about from the legal side. Why I guess life insurance is part of what you do.
Yeah, so we actually partner with CG Insurance. This is Life Insurance Month, and something obviously that they are, as an industry, are taking part in and informing people about life insurance this month. And so we are partnering with them in assisting them and advising some of their clients as they consider life insurance. What are some of the other sort of estate planning aspects that they also need to consider? So from the legal side, we partner with them in meeting with some of their clients and meeting with some of their clients' needs, more so on the legal side. So the insurance company will deal with the life insurance aspect of it, but then that is a very good time and a very good space to also consider your estate planning, the legal aspects, preparing a will, looking at powers of attorney, and sort of organizing your property in such a way that it prepares for when you're not here and to pass on assets to the next generation. So yeah, that's what we're looking at. Partnering with them, we are assisting CG Insurance in that way. Yep.
All right, and Mr. Robinson, just explain. Thank you for that, Mr. Simons. What life insurance actually is, and how does it differ from pension per se?
Okay, so first of all, now I want to thank you for handling these technical challenges. And to your co-hosts, I would like to offer my condolences for her loss, as well as you, Jamel. As Nathan described, September is basically Life Insurance Awareness Month, and this is an industry-led event, and it has been it's nearing almost 2 decades. And what this is an opportunity for the industry to come together. And what's interesting, this is on the heels of COVID, something that is, and during this time, something interesting has occurred. Over the last few years, individuals' mortality has become top of mind. It's a few things driving this. For one, it's just endured a 2.5-year pandemic. And another that's really interesting, and this is tied in with some statistics from the Bermuda Digest. It's really interesting. It highlights that the death rate has increased here in Bermuda. Since 2018, the number of deaths have exceeded 500. Now, that may not seem like a large number, but this number is the first time in over 3 decades. We've averaged in the low to mid 400. So what does this tell us? Well, this tells us that death is impacting more individuals in the community. In fact, when you further data mine these deaths, when you look at the demographic age between 45 and 64, that age has increased. So when you look, well, what's the significance of that particular age band? Well, when you look at that age band, that age demographically pretty much have dependents. They have, it could be their children, not quite grown. It could be they may be assisting their parents. They may have financial responsibilities. It could be mortgage, rent, school fees, just the day-to-day expenses. So these statistics highlight the uncertainty of life and pretty much what the future holds. And it also shows what has caused the shift in the community's perception of life insurance.
So what would you, and I understand that, especially understand it a bit more as I spoke to both of you, Mr. Samuels and Robinson, prior to coming on air about my mom passing this year. But there's this perception that, oh, I don't need life insurance. It's just a scam. Like, what can you say to people to get them to understand why it's necessary?
It's a question that I like to just ask directly, and it's a question that many individuals may not have really given much consideration to. And the question is, how long would your family remain financially solvent without your financial contribution? And then just sit back and just let that question settle in and let that individual answer. Because, it's a research arm that we use in the industry. It's LIMRA, which is the Life Insurance Marketing Research Association. It highlights that in 2022, they did a survey. 42% of households in the U.S. would face financial hardship within the first 6 months. So that's the sort of question that you would want to ask an individual to actually make them think about, okay, do I really need insurance? Well, then if you answer that question and your question is, well, I'm not sure, well, then this is a conversation that needs to be had. And unfortunately, I believe you and your co-hosts were talking about, this is not a subject, the subject matter is not comfortable. No one wants to discuss mortality. But it is inevitable. And, you want to be prepared.
Indeed, yes.
If I could just kind of jump in there as well, just a quick point too is that what oftentimes people don't realize is that there is there's a practical period of time between the time that someone passes away and the time that you can access that person's funds if that person owned funds in their sole name. So you can't just go to the bank and say, my parent passed away or another family member passed away. I am the family member. Can you please transfer the funds to me? You have to go through the probate process.
Right.
The court has to confirm that you are the rightful representative. Once they confirm that, and they do that through what's called a grant of probate, then that gets issued to the bank or to the other asset holding firm or organization. And then that is when they release funds to the family. And that process, particularly in Bermuda, can take quite a long time. It can actually take up to a year or more to go through that probate process and actually get a hold of some of those funds. So a lot of times life insurance becomes valuable to the family, because with life insurance, the funds that are distributed out of the policy go directly to the beneficiary of that policy. They don't fall into the estate and get sort of captured into the probate process and take sort of that 6 months, a year, 18 months to be released. So life insurance can assist a family going through probate while they're in that 12-month, 18-month period when they're trying to get the grant of probate and trying to access funds from a bank account. Life insurance can assist with giving funds to that family during that specific period of time.
Interesting. Yeah.
I'm so happy you explained that, because I don't think people understand how long that process can be.
Yeah.
And they run to the bank and they're like, it happened in my situation. I'm like, whoa, this is a process, and the family members are looking like, well, why can't we just, it can take a very long time.
Yeah.
So I'm happy you explained that.
Yeah.
But my question is, who should get life insurance? I know we just talked about like the age of mortality increasing between 45 and 65. Is there an age where you're like, you know what, you're a little too old to be getting life insurance? Who should be looking to get life insurance?
And that's a good question. The age depending on your circumstances, it would depend on the type, the amount that you would you look to get. So let's just say the older you get, your responsibilities, your financial responsibilities are reduced. So you wouldn't be looking for a large policy as you get older. But in that age demographic that we spoke of earlier, that's the age where there's many financial responsibilities or commitments. So one would be looking to obtain a policy at that point. Now, we recommend the younger you are, the better it is for you. Number one, your mortality, your health, there may be disposable funds that may allow you to do this and get you in the habit of insurance. While you have your health, that is, I would say, paramount to obtaining a policy. But looking at how one views life insurance, many have a perception of insurance, life insurance, and it sort of clouds one's judgment. Do I look at this as a burial plan and that's it? Or do I look at it as something like an income replacement policy? Because once our perception changes, we then can look at the importance of having one in place. So I like to use the analogy of, let's say, motor insurance. We have that in the event of an accident or death. We have health insurance in the event of any medical challenges. So the purpose of insurance is to reduce financial uncertainty and to make accidental loss manageable. So life insurance, thereby, it's a legal contract that will allow you to transfer your family's risk to the insurance company. So our message to the community is having a life insurance plan will ensure that the standard of living that you've accustomed your family to live can be maintained.
Yeah, and just to sort of back that up on the sort of legal perspective, I mean, I think like Jonathan, as advisors, we would say, at any stage, if there can be a reason or a need to obtain life insurance or carry out estate planning. But a lot of times from the legal perspective, we often see clients come in when they are starting a family and they are looking at, well, what happens if one of us, between two spouses, should pass away and there are young kids? what happens then? And we need to make provisions for that. So we often see clients come through looking for wills, looking for estate planning, and then obviously in what they're doing at the same time is life insurance as well at that time as well. And then we also see a lot of clients come through our doors sort of just before they're starting to look to retire. And again, for the very same reasons, they're looking at life insurance as well. So we often see those demographics as sort of points where people do begin to seriously consider estate planning, life insurance, and we're happy to see that. But yes, and then all through that, I mean, whatever age you are at, I think it's good to kind of consider, what is my estate plan? Do I have life insurance? Do I need life insurance?
Interesting. So what?
Sorry.
Go ahead. So what's the process of obtaining life insurance? I hate to admit it, but I went to an insurance company trying to get life insurance years ago. I needed them to call me back. They never called me back. I never had an appointment. Yada, 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 yada. So we're having this conversation today, and it is on my to-do list for this month. I will have life insurance. What is the process?
And I'm glad you asked about the process, because many times one thinks that this is a daunting process. And when they think of it, they start thinking of all the what ifs, and then it becomes overwhelming, and then they never actually go any further. But the process, it could take anywhere from 10 days to several weeks, and it just depends on the applicant. The underwriting process is calculating risk factors. So does the applicant smoke? Do they engage in any extreme hobbies? What's the family history? Physical condition of the applicant, their gender. It looks at it's calculated based on Bermuda's life expectancy, the individual's occupation. Now that's the underwriting process. The onset, the actual applicant will sit down and do a fact-find analysis, and this is in order for a recommendation to be offered. Once the recommendation is offered, the application can be completed. Medicals, depending on the amount, may be required. The application is then underwritten, it's been reviewed, it's either approved or it's going back for further consideration. Once all that's done, the policy is then issued, it's been placed, and then the individual has life insurance.
Gotcha.
So that's the process. So the from the onset, the process could be anywhere from an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, and then the underwriting process could take 10 days to a couple of weeks, just depending on if you need to go to a doctor and securing the doctor's appointment and what.
So with that being said, what kind of plans are available for life insurance?
So with that being said, life insurance is two types of products. There's the term, and there are various terms. There could be a renewable term, a decreasing term, level term. And then there's the permanent insurance, the whole of life. And that goes through the entire life of the individual. It sort of ages out at age 100. So those are the two types of plans. It just varies which one you may go with in that bracket.
Okay, and just to recap, can you explain to our audience what can life insurance be used for?
Okay, so and again, this is dependent on who your client is. If you're looking at business to customers, so that's to the individual, you would look at life insurance for maybe mortgage protection. You will look at it for income replacement. You will look for it for last expenses. And some look at it for a burial. If you were looking at it on the business side of things, you would look at an employer insuring their key person, the person that basically keeps their business afloat, the key individual. And companies can insure that person in the event that something happens to that individual. they have the funds immediately to, number one, go recruit someone, and then they have the funds in the event they lose revenue in the time it takes to recruit and train and bring that person up to speed. In a partnership, it could be a situation where each partner is insured. In the event that anything happens to either partner, the funds are now made available where the surviving partner can then become the sole proprietor and then use the insurance proceeds to pay off the family of the deceased partner. So that's how life insurance can be used on an individual family plan or in a business setting.
We've got quite a few questions from the audience. Some of them you've answered, but just want to engage with you guys. We've got one. Sean Smith is asking, can you have both terms and whole life insurance?
A great question. Yes, you can. In fact, we have a product that's a hybrid of both. So it could be an individual that, I want long-term insurance. However, I have some immediate needs. So I may have a $500,000 mortgage, but I really don't want to apply for maybe $600,000 of whole of life because that would probably be very costly. So why don't I take a $500,000 term for the mortgage and take $100,000 whole of life, combine the policy. So I only have one policy for the 20 years for the mortgage. I would have the 500. After the 20 years has passed, that 500 would drop off, and I will maintain that 100 throughout life.
Okay. We've got another question. Rosalind Fame is a life insurance necessary for a person who has no children or spouse / domestic partner?
And that's another great question. I would say you are definitely the person that would be that would need a life insurance policy, and here's why. A single person with, let's say, no dependents or just a single person, in the event that something were to happen to them, life insurance has a provision. When I say something happened to them, let's say they're diagnosed with a terminal illness. There's a provision in life insurance that if a doctor has diagnosed you with 12 months or less to live, the insured can then come into the insurance company and cash the insurance out. So let's just say if the policy is $300,000, they can take the $300,000 before death. Now the policy will now be terminated because the policy has been paid, and so that individual, that single person, now has the funds if they need to hire somebody to be a caregiver, if they want to pay their mortgage or their rent for the next 12 months so that they don't have to worry about anything financially. They have the peace of mind because they have that policy. And, they may not have had a significant other to help take care of them. They've got the funds, they can hire someone. So when someone says, I'm single, I really don't need anything. You're the person I really want to talk to.
We have just one last question. We do have some elderly members of our community who tune in, or seasoned members. And we've got a question, Janet Maynard asking, can folks in their 70s get life insurance?
Yes. Now that's going to be a question that is going to be company centric. For our company, and someone in their 70s are eligible up until age 74. So before they're 75, they can qualify for life insurance.
All right. And before we let you both go, I just want you to both reiterate, before you go, just final words you would say to anyone who's tuned in to this show. First with you, Nathan Samuels, from a legal angle. Again, I'm being very personal in this, sharing what I'm sharing, but we're dealing with the probate process, my sister and myself right now. And my mom passed in January. We're nowhere near the end. So we're privileged per se to not be in a space where we need, or it's put us in a bad state. So we understand that privilege, but not everyone's going to be in that space. Not everyone's going to be there. What legal advice would you give people as a sign off right now?
I guess, and it's probably very similar to the life insurance context as well. But basically, planning is key. I think a lot of times, just as people, what we do is we say, you know what, maybe it's not as this going into an attorney or going into a life insurance company that, I don't really want to do that. That seems difficult. I have to make an appointment. I have to see an attorney. I have to spend money. That seems very difficult. I'm going to put that off. And then we look at probate and say, you know what, my family will take care of that when the time comes, and I'm not going to worry about it. And I think the part of the problem is just the way that we look at it, because the planning, I think as Jonathan explained, and I can attest to, the planning before someone passes away is often not as difficult as you might think. Making the appointment, getting in, seeing an advisor, getting documents prepared, whether it be a policy or a will done, is not actually as difficult as you might think. But on the flip side, and Jamal, maybe you can attest to this, oftentimes the probate situation, the situation of dealing with someone's passing, is often more difficult than what people think. And so I think it's, if we begin to just shift the way that we're thinking about these things, we often think planning is very difficult beforehand, and we think that the probate on the, after someone passes, won't be so difficult. And it actually is in reverse. I think the planning tends to be less difficult than we think, but the probate, unfortunately, tends and can often be more difficult than we think, particularly if we haven't planned. So my emphasis today would just be to plan. Plan as much as possible. Look at life insurance. Look at what you need to do as far as property ownership, your wills, powers of attorney, that sort of thing. Start to think about your estate and what you might need to do in order to plan for the later stages of your life.
Indeed. And Jonathan, before you head out as well, what advice would you want to leave the audience with as far as inquiring about life insurance?
So life insurance cannot remove the grief and pain associated with losing a loved one, but it can take away the financial stress caused by an unexpected loss of the principal income earner. Recently we've seen in lieu of flowers, family are accepting donations or make a donation to the funeral home, and now we're even seeing more of GoFundMe requests. And you really don't want to have the stress of having to, set these things up in a matter of days. And so what life insurance does, it provides peace of mind when the unthinkable happens. So my advice to ones in Bermuda, give the insurance company a call, give us a call, and start the process. There's loads of misconceptions out there, and those misconceptions they cause delay. So don't allow that delay to cause challenges in your family.
Jonathan, thank you so much. Nathan Sanders, thank you so much for the conversation, gents. And again, this should be an ongoing thing until everyone in our community understands how this works. Appreciate you both. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity. All right. See you later.
All right,
Bye.
Folks, if you appreciated that conversation, give both gentlemen a thumbs up, a love, a like. Really appreciated the information. Again, folks, don't wait until the time comes. Trust me. We're in that situation now. Give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share this conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Do not go anywhere. We're going to come back. We're going to do a giveaway as well. So don't go anywhere. Stick with us. Daily Playtime, and we'll wrap it up.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security, there's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
Alrighty, thanks again to Nathan Samuels and Jonathan Robinson. Really appreciated the conversation. Sancha, you know, we don't go long often, but I just feel the information is so valuable to our audience, to our community, and I'm grateful for those who continue to engage, tune in. I mean it. Please share these conversations. Give us a love, a like. Thanks again to One Communications, People's Pharmacy, Medical House, and Lindos for ensuring we can have these kind of conversations to improve our community. Time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Heineken 0.0. Great taste, no alcohol. And Bermuda Trivia, now available for Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on social media to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Sancha, are you ready?
Let's have it.
All right. It's a Name That Place. Very easy, very easy.
Just because you said it's very easy, I'm going to be like, eh.
The audience
Go
can.
ahead.
All right.
Okay.
What is the state capital of Florida?
State capital of Florida. What is the state capital? It's not Miami, Orlando. I don't know this. I feel like I should. I don't know. Is it easy?
The audience didn't even know, and they're probably Googling right now.
Yeah, what is it?
Capital of Florida. What'd you say?
I was like, it's not Miami. It's not Orlando. It's Sarasota. I don't know. Tallahassee?
Tallahassee.
Is it?
Tallahassee, yeah.
I didn't know that. I guess I never thought about it.
Most people wouldn't.
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't. Trust me. You got Jacksonville, Orlando, Miami, Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa.
Thought about it.
Yeah, you wouldn't think Tallahassee if you don't know, but Tallahassee is the state capital of Florida.
I've been there, but didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the state capital. Let's wrap it up. What's your final thoughts on discussion about the delegates and then the conversation about life insurance?
The delegates. I encourage everyone to get involved, and have an understanding of the process. And hopefully the conversations that we have coming up next week is going to help people get there and understand how this process works, because maybe by us understanding, we may not know who the people are, but it may give them a little conscience, like, okay, people understand this. It's not just something that's happening within the PLP. We're actually invested as a community, right? So maybe they may move with, I don't know, a little integrity. And then
I'm sorry.
The conversation that we had this morning about life planning, you're going through it, as am I, with losing my grandmother recently. And sometimes you just want to shy away from it. I'm sure, Jamal, you had times where you just feel like putting the covers over your head. Literally. And it's a difficult time because you lost someone that you love. And now having to go through this process, it's daunting. And my grandmother had everything in order, from like how her service went, who she wanted to put, like everything in order. And it still weighs heavy on me. Yeah. So I think that we owe it to our loved ones to do these things on this side, rather than leaving them there standing wondering, what's next and how to deal with it. So I'm grateful that my grandmother planned everything out, but it also showed me that there's a light at the end of the tunnel and I can do this. You know?
I forgot to give you the hashtag. It's Bermuda Trivia for today's giveaway, Bermuda Trivia. As far as the vote in Sancha, hashtag Bermuda Trivia for your chance for a giveaway, by the way. As far as the delegates, I do think it's of public interest. I do think that in good conscience, that the Bermudian people should know who the delegates are. But of course, we don't operate in good conscience. And so the challenge with it is, instead of doing what's in the best interest of the people in good conscience, we make excuses for why we continue to do the things the way we do them. So that's that. I believe they should be public. The other part in life insurance, again, dealing with it now, is I would encourage everyone to just inquire. There's so many more questions. Sean Smith had quite a few in the audience as well, about premiums and so on, and learning more. But I'm grateful for that first conversation. I am grateful for the opportunity to speak about estate planning, because if the pandemic taught us nothing, it taught us that our time could be over at any minute. And one of the most important things is, many of us don't live to, whereas, okay, what if we lose this income from our household? That right there is key. Like, are you, if something happened to someone who supports your household, are you going to be able to sustain, pay your mortgage, pay your rent, feed yourself? We have to think of this stuff, folks, because traditionally we haven't. I'll leave it at that. Let's do the Bermuda trivia giveaway, and then after that, Sandra's going to send you some daily inspiration. And while we're doing that, we do have a big week, as mentioned. We've got apparently the former leader of the PLP, Mark Bean, stopping by. The Honorable Mark Bean. We have the Honorable former Minister Nalitha Butterfield, and I believe the challenger for leadership of the PLP, Mr. Curtis Dickinson, the Honorable Curtis Dickinson, stopping by as well next week. But before that, we have a historic show on Daily Hour tomorrow that you do not want to miss. Historic show. And also guests will be Lana Young, who recently appeared in Tyler Perry's latest flick. So let's do the giveaway real quickly, folks, so that we can send you on your way. You're probably like, Jamal, you're keeping us too long. I know. Let's see. Who's it gonna be? Sheldon Fox. Congratulations, my friend. You are the winner of a deck of Bermuda trivia cards. Congratulations to you, Sancha. You've got some daily inspiration for us?
I do. You may not always have a comfortable life. You will not always be able to solve all of the world's problems at once, but don't ever underestimate the importance you can have, because history has shown that courage can be contagious and hope can take on a life of its own. Michelle Obama.
I was like, that's gotta be Oprah.
This is what I'm feeling about this conference coming up. I'm like, you know what? Let's get involved. Let's stay hopeful. Let's be courageous.
I got you.
I'm feeling.
Thanks again to our partners, Medical Hours, One Communications, Lenders, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Sancha Durham. I'm Jamal Hartman, my friends. Please do make it a safe and great day. Do you have a mug yet, Sancha?
Jamal, goodbye.
All right, cool.